Hey there, YouTubes. Chris Holman here with Kellie PB Fam. It's Chris and Kellie live here at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Chris Holman here with Kellie PB. Well, I need to remember to mute that there. Kellie and I will be covering online censorship, the Free Tommy appeal, the Puerto Rican mayor arrested for fraud related to the hurricane relief that was going on down there. Say Perfect is in. Hey, what's going on, Say? Nice to see you in here. Real quick, for anybody tuning in for the first time, I'm Chris Holman. I am a veteran and YouTuber. I don't know. Would you consider me a philosopher, Kellie?
Yeah, I would. Yes, I would.
Maybe a little bit. Amateur at best. And then my co-host here, Kellie. Go ahead and let everybody know who you are, in case they don't know.
Hi, I'm Kellie PB Fam, and I live on a small farm. And I do photography along with videography and editing. And I basically, a jack of all trade and master of none is what I would call myself.
Yeah, yeah. So today's stream is going to be a little bit different. But before we get into the stream, we do have some good news. So there has been some positive upgrades coming to the channel. So I recently got a high-end webcam. In fact, it was the best webcam that was in the store there at Best Buy. And I also got everything I need to have the background. So Kellie and I will be hopefully going, we will be going when we go live. It'll be less like a podcast and more like a legitimate YouTube broadcast. You'll be able to see us. I also got, of course, I downloaded some software. Michelle actually turned me on to this software. It's what she uses. Kellie and I will actually be going from, instead of using Hangouts, to using Skype. That's how that's going to work. Skype is just it's a better quality program. Should have some pretty good audio and video with that. We probably ought to do a test stream sometime midweek next week. Probably.
Yeah, that sounds good. There's so much stuff going on that we could cover a little bit of what's going on news-worthy wise. That might pop up just to do a real quick test streaming.
Yeah, sure. I see that La Resistance is here. So welcome, La Resistance. Thanks for coming. Another thing that we've done today to kind of help with streaming, and hopefully it'll help with some of the video quality of the videos we're going to be showing. We're not going to be showing them directly from YouTube. They have been downloaded and put together. So we're not going to have as many tabs open as we normally do. So we've got that. Unfortunately, I didn't have enough time. There's two segments that were supposed to be all one video, but I didn't have enough time to save the last save to put them together.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Yeah, we were kind of racing between things. We each had things to do, and yesterday I kind of unfortunately got pulled away.
Yeah,
and didn't get everything to hit Chris that he needed.
Yeah,
gone for the whole day. So it's part of my fault. I do apologize.
Yeah, you got everything to me, but it was kind of a little late getting it to me, but that's okay. I was finishing up all the editing, and I tell you what, the fact that I was able to get it done in time is pretty amazing. I got all the editing put together, and
technical issues,
dealing with technical issues, everything. I was finishing up during the Mass Faith 3 stream. That's why if you were in the Mass Faith 3 stream and you didn't see me comment but just a few times, That's because I was listening as best I could, but man, I was really trying to get all this lined up for you guys. I love y'all, and I want to put on a good show for you.
Yes.
So let's go ahead and get that going here. And so let's go ahead and bring this down. And I'm eventually I'm going to get the hang of this. All right, so here we go. Kellie's in control of this, so she's going to tell me when to pause. And I mean, she's already looked through this, but she's going to tell me when to pause. She's going to be, you got the power. With power comes responsibility. I'm looking at you, Kellie. All right, here we go.
Hi, I'm Fox San Antonio's Jessica Headley.
And I'm Ryan Wolf.
Our greatest responsibility is to serve our Treasure Valley communities,
the El Paso, Las Cruces communities,
Eastern Iowa communities,
Mid-Michigan communities.
We are extremely proud of the quality, balanced journalism that CBS 4 News produces.
But
we are concerned about troubling irresponsible, one-sided stories plaguing our country.
The sharing of biased and false news has become all too common on social media. More alarming, some media outlets publish these same fake stories without checking facts first.
The sharing of biased and
false news has become all too common on social media.
More alarming, some media outlets publish these stories are true without checking facts first.
Unfortunately, some members of the media use their platforms to push their own personal bias and agenda to control exactly what people think. And this is extremely dangerous to our democracy.
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 This is extremely dangerous to our democracy. This is extremely dangerous to our democracy.
I have to say, I'm sick to my stomach. I'm really...
Okay, so go ahead and pause that. That's that first little segment.
Yeah.
So I want to say something about that one. Okay, and we could discuss it. So anybody who says that our media is not controlled, right there, look at it. Those are all local stations, but if you'll notice, they run the gamut. These are affiliates from Fox, CBS, NBC, ABC, all of them. And they're saying the exact same thing. The exact same thing.
It's an echo.
Yeah. Pretty scary. Pretty scary. So this next little clip Kellie brought to my attention just kind of showcases the hate of the left. And you just tell me when you want me to pause it.
Okay. Feeling nauseous.
Stunned, gobsmacked.
We're hearing words like, I feel sick, this is frightening, calling it an abomination, shocking,
Stunning, genuinely stunning.
what is going on? Unbelievable.
Astonishing, just astonishing.
It is astonishing, it's heartbreaking, and it represents, I think, a pivotal turn in our nation's history.
It's time for Americans to be out on the street.
There are people protesting in the streets every day.
In the 70s. Why is that not happening now?
When do we see almost a shadow government come out and say, we cannot side with the government?
As an American citizen, I just personally think today is just an incredibly depressing moment in our time, in our history as an American. Was this a new low? Jim Shooter and Josh Campbell, I appreciate you both being with us on what has been.
Well, did you say pause?
Yes, I did.
Okay, what do we got?
Did you notice how they were talking about us as Americans? In this, now when I've seen this and I was listening to this is something that we should be standing together as Americans, and we are so divided.
We are.
This is really showing a definite division.
Well, I don't.
Against.
Okay, let me just add this. I'm not entirely sure that the American people themselves, as a whole, in general, Of course, this doesn't take into account the far left, right, and the far right. But the majority of Americans, I do not believe, are as divided or are as hostile in real life as the media would make us believe.
I don't think they're quite as knowledgeable though.
No, they're not. But the point I'm trying to make is, in my opinion, and tell me if I'm wrong, if you disagree with me. I kind of hope you do, actually, so that we can have a discussion here. If otherwise you're fired. No, I'm kidding. The thing is that, the squeaky wheel gets the grease, right? So the far left and mostly the far left, but also the far right, and then that everything that the left associates with the far right is what gets all the attention, right?
Exactly.
And then the media stokes the fires of all of that.
Yeah, and that's where the alt media comes in, and that's the reason why they're wanting to pull this censorship, because they're calling us the fake, the ones that really want to bring out true news. They want to hide and cover everything up, as shown in the prior video that you had out there. Everybody is scripted and saying what they need to say.
Right.
When it comes out to that, but I still feel that we as Americans are not knowledgeable enough that we're not being brought together. I really don't feel we're being brought together because we don't have that knowledge. And it's because of the fact they're watching this fake news, and they are trying to censor us and trying to take off people that want to have free speech come out there. And be able to say something freely. And if they want to say, I'm doing a news interview, they don't have to go to school to have a news a news licensing. Right. They can go out there and say, I want your political view, or I would like to know your personal view on a certain topic. And that is free speech. And it should be able to be brought out. And the way they're bringing it about, we are not together on this as Americans.
We're not. No. This is kind of, I guess, related. Well, it's related. It's part of it. So the media, these journalists, they're not journalists. They're activists, right? That's what they are. They're activists. And in fact, there was recently a Steven Crowder, Louder with Crowder video where he, on air, she didn't know it at the time, but Texas is a single party or single party state or something like that. Anyway, all they need is his consent. The person filming it. It's actually kind of interesting. So, but she wrote an article about him that was completely 100% wrong. The facts were selectively chosen. She just outright lied and did not include the video in question. And he called her out, like, you're not a journalist, you're an activist. At one point, it was actually kind of funny. She asked him if he was a journalist, and he says, no. Are you? It was actually kind of funny. The thing is with our media today, they're taught that in school that truth is subjective, right? Of course, now we know that it's not. Truth cannot be subjective. It's objective. There's one truth or there is no truth, is what have been known to say. I've said that many times. There's one truth or there is no truth. And so they have their truth, and they will tell their truth. And their truth is their ideology, and they're going to push that ideology. They've been brainwashed, plain and simple, whether it be, in high school. With a lot of these people their age, this would be in college. But they also have bosses that are forcing them, hey, you want to get paid, you want a paycheck, you're going to report the way I want you to. You know what I mean?
Exactly. And a lot of places, this is kind of diverting off a little bit, but a lot of places, for instance, CNN, is being they buy their slots of where they want to be.
Yeah.
Because, like, taking my husband to his orthopedic doctor,
Yeah.
when he amputated his finger, all I seen was big TVs that had CNN on it, and it's
Right.
constantly CNN.
Yeah.
And you can't change the channel.
Yeah, it's
They
like, yeah,
block that spot.
yeah, they do that at airports and restaurants. Yeah, they do that. The point I was trying to get to, I didn't even get to my point. These activist journalists. So, you know, they've got their subjective truth, and they're brainwashed in college. They're pushing this ideology, all of that. And when they say, this was the point I was getting to, when they refer to fake news and alt media and Russian bots, right? What they're meaning is the views and opinions and reporting of the news that differ from their ideology. So
Exactly.
to them, fake news is what contradicts their beliefs and their ideology. Even when facts are not on their side, it doesn't matter. Their ideology is what matters, not the facts, not the news. That's not journalism. That is unethical journalism at best. But what it truly is, what you're seeing throughout this, what you'll see throughout this segment, and what you've been seeing every time you turn on CNN, MSNBC, CBS, CNN, Fox News, all of it, you see an ideology.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Really a difficult day for this country and frankly for much of the free world ahead.
He didn't even meet his own low bar for not screwing this up.
I mean, it is an absolute disgrace. It's a parody of a disgrace.
This entire week of President Trump abroad has made Hillary Clinton seem all the more prescient.
All he had to do was not, put on jammies and crawl under the covers with Vladimir Putin, and he couldn't do that.
Do White House officials realize how horrifying so many Americans are today? Mr. Putin now is the master puppeteer of Donald Trump.
If Vladimir Putin gets our president,
Okay. Was there anything you wanted to add before this goes to that next little segment?
Actually, no. I think that says it for itself after we had that conversation there. That kind of finished that out in a good way.
All right. I'm going to come over and take a look at the chat, see what we got going on. I want to ask, is the video quality that you're seeing and what we're showing better than it has been in the past for doing it this way? Anybody in the chat would be so kind.
Yes, no.
I have a clip. Law Resistance says, I have a clip of the press corps room in Helsinki behind the scenes, and they are vicious. Law Resistance, if you want to email me the URL to that, maddogs424@gmail.com. We can definitely pull it up. Or no. Oh, you put the link right in there in the chat. Maybe I should just look down a little bit.
Well, we are getting yes that the video quality definitely is better.
It is better.
Yes.
Good. Video quality is good, says Law Resistance. Yeah. So when I watch back on my streams, the quality of the video that I see while I'm streaming, or has been, is not as good as when I watch it back, which is how you see it. Which is very kind of a little pixelated and choppy. So it's better now. Very good. Okay.
Yeah, Maya says sound and video is much better. So
good.
Thank you for your input, you guys.
Yeah, thank you so much. We are doing what we can to improve. And next Friday, you'll be able to see our pretty mugs. Okay, well, Kelly's pretty mug and my ugly mug. There you go.
No, that's not pretty. Not me. No.
Donna's here. She says, yo, hey. Thanks for coming, Donna. Adeline is here as well. So what? Angry is here. This is good. I'm liking the turnout. Stevie's here. Looking through the chat. Make sure I get a shout out to Hilton 11,000 is here. Just started. Thanks for coming. Maya, say perfect. That Chris Holman guy is here. Who's Chris Holman? All right, let's get back to this now. If y'all like what we've put together, just thank Kelly. She's the one who put all this together.
Facebook's giving $90 million to mainstream media networks in order to create original content that is streamed exclusively on Facebook, and it's all kicking off this coming Monday, July 16th.
What happened?
You saw yesterday's video, you'll know that YouTube is paying $25 million to mainstream media networks and pretend news channels in order to produce content for YouTube to flood the platform with liberal propaganda. And Facebook is doing the same thing, but upping the ante and spending almost $100 million. Facebook's first wave of funded news shows will debut July 16th, with more on the way. Facebook's multi-million-dollar investment in news programming from brand-name TV networks and digital media companies will go live next week, and the social giant has announced another half dozen news shows that it's funding.
Now, this is a little late. This started Monday. So did you hear about this, Kelly?
Yeah, I did. I did get to see. Stephen had actually pulled it up and we watched some of it.
Yeah. So what? Go ahead, and I actually haven't seen on the Facebook Watch. Like I've seen the notifications come up, right? Can you just kind of explain to me and everyone here how that works?
As in
the Facebook Watch,
the Facebook Live,
the Facebook Watch, where they've got CNN, Fox News, Univision, ABC, all of those going in an episodic programming on Facebook Watch, where they're specifically promoting mainstream media.
Yeah, they've actually got they're putting out an algorithm that is picking up keywords and phrases that are being set up, that has pulled them into the forefront.
Right.
And in turn has put anybody else, they've actually shadow banned and held back many of the other people that want to get content out, to where people say somebody's got 10,000 views when they're running live, are only getting maybe 1,000 at that point. Yeah. And now it's coming up to where CNN, Fox, ABC, MSNBC, all these, different agencies that are out there trying to get fake news out, are being able to be pulled to the forefront of basically the merry-go-round of, chalk pick.
Poor.
That they're able to sit there and pick them out via the wording that you use. So you have to watch the wording that you use,
right?
Or you get thrown in the background,
right,
down into the deep hole.
Poor Mark Dice. I've got it paused with his tongue sticking out. Poor guy. So, so I did see. I kind of wish I'd have had that and included this. I didn't actually think about it, even though it's been out pretty much. It got reported, I think, this week. 93% of traffic to conservative sites on Facebook has been blocked. It's
shut
yeah,
down.
they've lost 93% of their traffic.
Yep.
That's
why I gave you that ratio of 10 to 1,000.
Yeah,
that's
so
about 90% right there.
Yeah, so I mean, it's not like, and look, this isn't just alt media, right? All conservative media, right? We're talking about Breitbart. We're talking about, Fox News. We're talking about, listen, I'm going to tell you this right now. Other than what I am following on Facebook, if I'm not following it, it doesn't show up. It doesn't, other than leftist stuff will show up.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I've noticed that, if I'm following Alex Jones, I will get Alex Jones.
Right.
Which I'm surprised, but I am getting him.
Right.
And he goes live. And they've really been hitting him hard. So, I'm wanting to get rid of him, look at what they did on Tuesday.
Right.
So, this is definitely something that, we need to stand up. We need to contact our Capitol. There is a number, and I should have gave that number to you, which actually has a fax number that you can fax them a letter and a phone number. And I will look that up and make sure that Chris gets it in the description, so that if you do want to call and fight for our rights to have freedom of speech and not take our censorship away, whether it's Facebook and you're sitting there showing, a cute doggy picture that maybe somebody might not like, and they put a flag on it, and you get thrown into a hole, or it's something that could be, of inappropriate stuff, that's something that they're allowing.
Right.
It's free speech. Unfortunately, it should still be able to be played. There's two sides to every story, so it should be able to be played. So that's the reason why I want to make sure that those numbers are given, and that you can sit there and call the switchboard at the Capitol, and at least have it noted that you would like to keep our censorship from happening to us, that we can still have our freedom of speech.
So, real quick, two things. One, I don't know if you can hear that. We just finished up one thunderstorm, and another one's coming through now. I'm fighting the urge to go out there in the rain. I know it's a thunderstorm. I'm still a little damp from the last one when I went outside. My collar's still damp. But if I lose power, the stream's going to go down. So if the stream stops suddenly, my light just flickered. That's what that means. So, now this should make you very angry. And I want to see what people have to say about this. So I'm going to pull us back up here. Earlier this year, now mind you, they've been, ever since the election, the censorship of conservatives has been just crazy, right? Absolutely crazy. And channels getting strikes, getting shut down, while YouTube has completely ignored pro-pedophilia sites.
Exactly. Porn sites and everything else are up there. I mean, and they're allowing it, and there's no strikes. I mean, and the pedophilia, like you said, but I mean, there's awful stuff. They let Logan Paul back on.
Law Resistance says U.S. midterm elections coming up. They want a conservative blackout. Absolutely, yep. That's exactly what it is. And she says Zuckerberg. What's wrong with me lately? Zuckerberg equals Satan religion. I'm not going to disagree there. There's something wrong with him.
And that's not really his name either. So he's going under an anagram. So.
Yep. And she had said earlier, they are hitting conservatives hard. I often wonder how long this can continue. Well, you put information, when you censor information and it goes underground, and people are going to search it out. They're actually only going to make our message stronger.
I was wondering if you had that photo that I set up and made a three picture collage of myself looking myself up for YouTube.
So I saw it, but I don't have it up. But I also have Google and DuckDuckGo up. And so here in a little bit, I thought we would actually start looking some stuff up live. See what we got. See what the differences are between them. So here we go. Oh, Mass Faith just came in. Welcome, Mass Faith. Glad to see you here. Makes me smile.
Yeah.
Oh, it's Patriot Gallery is the one as who Mass Faith is today. Patriot Gallery. Welcome. You still make me smile, Patriot Gallery.
Yeah. Glad you're here.
Starting Monday, July 16th, programming from CNN, Fox News, Univision, ABC, and others will be featured in a dedicated news section in Facebook Watch, its recently launched video platform for episodic programming. The first lineup of shows from news publishers include those from ABC News, Advanced Local, APTN, CNN, Fox News, Mike Sports, and Univision. Over the course of the next few months, Facebook will bring out additional news shows from ABC-owned stations, Bloomberg, BuzzFeed News, the Class C Group 9 Media's Now This, and Tegna. And guess which is the only Fox News show that's going to be streaming on Facebook's new feature? It's Fox News Update with host Shepard Smith. If you're not familiar with Shepard Smith, he's on during the daytime and belongs on CNN, but it's info.
Okay. Shepard Smith. If you don't know who he is, he's on Fox News, but he is a raging liberal. Raging. And his reporting, how he reports things, is pretty much you might as well be watching CNN. You might as well. Yeah, Shepard Smith. Man, he's awful. He's worse than Juan Williams. I mean, it's bad. I think they probably just keep him on because they're afraid of a lawsuit. I don't know. I mean, he doesn't fit the rest of the network at all. I mean, so now here's the thing with the news. I don't want conservative news. I don't want liberal news. I don't want communist news. I don't want libertarian news. I want the news. Give me the facts. Just report the facts from both sides. The facts and the opinions from both sides. Let me make up my own mind. I don't need you to tell me how to think. I can think for myself. Thank you very much.
You're right.
That's my opinion. I remember when I was a kid.
I agree with you.
When I was a little kid, there was still a little bias, but it was barely noticeable, right?
Mm-hmm.
When I was a kid, I'm sorry, I'm eating dinner. When I was a kid, I remember, even though there was a little bit of bias, that's how it was reported. In other news, blah, 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 and so-and-so said, and so-and-so said. And then earlier today, I mean, that's how the news went, right?
Right.
Not now. What has, I mean, they've all become political hacks. It's actually, I'm embarrassed for them. Mass Faith says, raining here. Chris is in Indiana. He gets the rain. Then it travels east to us. So, Patriot Gallery, the storm you're getting now is not the same storm I have now, right now. So when the one you have right now is done, the one that's raging right now is on your way. Thunderstorm, of course, I love my thunderstorms. Like I just said just a few minutes ago, I'm still wet from the last thunderstorm earlier when I stepped out inside of it. Gosh, I love the rain. Can I just live in the rain, Kelly?
Yeah.
I'd move to Seattle, but man, they crazy. It rains there all the time.
I love thunderstorms. I used to drive up the road and
Yeah.
sit there and try to photograph lightning. It's hard to catch on a camera.
But people in Seattle they're just crazy. I couldn't live there; too crazy, and I like my guns too much. All right, let's get back to this. All right, So this is segments from an Infomores. What is wrong with me, Kelly?
I don't know. This has happened the last 3 times.
It has. So you know how like you have like typos when you type, right? So
Yep.
this is like verbal typos. I can't spell when I talk. I can't talk. I don't even speak English. What language you speak? Blah blah blah. That's what I speak. All right, so here we go. InfoWars. Here we go. Segments from an Alex Jones InfoWars. Very recent. This was from yesterday?
Yesterday. And some of it
Tomorrow's news today. A lot of you are going to go to prison. Trump has only been letting you have rope like a fish, let run out on that line.
I'm gonna pause this real quick. There is going to be some foul language here, just for you to be warned. And we're all adults here, I think. I think we all are, but a little bit. He's going to use some language I don't use.
Hold back. Run deep, bitch. Run hard. Because when I'm done, we're turning the engines on, and I'm getting strapped in, we're hauling your ass in on metal lines, and we're going to chop you up on the deck, hold beer on shore, and fry your ass and enjoy you. And you will make us strong. You will feed us, cowards. You never start to fight scum. You only finish. Like King George III or Hitler or Hirohito, be ready to have your ass handed to you. Alex Jones.
So am I the only one here that is happy to see Alex Jones with a beard?
He looks better now, but it's filled in. But when it was growing in, it did not look good. And I told you that earlier.
Yeah. Us men, we're supposed to have beards. Mind you, I don't currently have my beard on because it's summertime, but I look forward to when it gets cold again. I can grow my beard. And I never have a big beard. I mean, if you look back at my videos from last winter and last spring, you can see my, in most of them, there's a couple I shaved for, but, you know, it was still a close crop, trimmed beard, but still, I like my beard.
Obviously, he's one of the conspiracy theorists whose brand is bullying.
Alex Jones is going to hear this.
Wait a minute. Should we say something more than just about his beard, though, Kelly? It seems a little odd.
He's got a voice that rattle. He sounds very manly. And
he's an alpha male. He is. That's pretty apparent. You know, I don't drink, but I'd love to sit down and drink a soda with him while he drinks a beer. I'm not saying I'm like a fanboy Alex Jones, but he just seems like he'd be a fun guy to just hang out with. You know?
Yeah, he sounds like he would be too.
All right. Well, remember, now I had said in a previous stream, was it last Friday's stream, I think? I don't remember what it was, or maybe this was in the comments. Anyway, I had said somewhere that you know, they went after Alex Jones specifically there in that congressional hearing, and I'm like, and you know, and then the InfoWars channel got shut down on on YouTube.
The original channel got shut down.
Right. And I said,
in my mind when I took pictures, I actually sent those pictures, snapshots to you, and I sent it to Michelle and Leah.
Right. And I said, and this was my response, Alex Jones is going to, they have just awoken the beast. He's going to go ballistic on this. And that's what this video is. This is him. And it's not the whole video. You know, go to Alex Jones and you can find and watch all of it. But here we go.
Going to say, why is CNN out to get me? Why are you trying to take me down?
Here's an example of this.
Why are they still on?
Does it stop with Jones, or does it also go transfer to other outlets?
I don't know how you're dealing with all these conspiracy theorists on your platform.
That man's a threat to this country. They engage in premeditated defamation. These people are all lawyers. They're very smart. They've defamed me in fake lawsuits they filed, funded by the Democratic Party, knowing they're protected, filing false statements under defamation in lawsuits. And then they do it as members of Congress protected with immunity for false statements. But
Some of them made mistakes and made public statements outside of Congress when they're not sitting in their chairs. So I am forced, as I've done with anti-SLAPP suits and other operations, to prepare lawsuits. I've shipped the tort letters as of today to them, and I've got those letters right here, letting Congressman Dutch and Congressman Raskin know that they are on notice of our lawsuits. I don't want to file these lawsuits, but I cannot continue to allow them to lie. They went in with an ADL, Southern Poverty Law Center script. Southern Poverty Law Center and ADL write a lot of the reports for Soros-run Media Matters, and I know word for word that was Media Matters. And they said, Jones says no one died at Parkland in Florida this year, Valentine's Day, one of my daughter's birthday, and that Jones has bullied them.
Did Jones bully anybody, Kelly?
No, I have never seen him bully anybody other than when he has been physically attacked on the street.
Right. Now, I have a question. Kelly.
Mm-hmm.
So if someone is a public figure, a public political figure, and they put their views out there, is it legitimate to address those views, to address that individual's credibility? And
technically, it's free speech. You can, except for the fact, if it has to do with religious.
Well, I think you're missing the point I'm trying to get to. It's not just it's not just free speech. I'm talking about somebody who is a political activist or a political speaker or a politician, right? They're putting their views out there, right? Despite their age, whether they're 18 or 68, right? Doesn't matter what you say about them. If you talk about the individual, you're attacking their credibility, right?
Exactly.
Which is legitimate, is what I'm saying. So what I'm saying is that it's legitimate with David Hogg, he made himself a political activist, right?
Right.
And pointing out that he was from the drama club and that it was scripted, and there's videos of him rehearsing before he goes in front of the camera, right? Yep. None of that is organic, right? Is he a mouthpiece for the left? That's exactly what he turned into, a mouthpiece for the left.
Yeah, he turned into their little puppet.
He did. And so criticizing both what he's saying and who he is legitimate. He's done this to himself by putting himself out there as a political activist.
And anybody can do that if they come out there and they step out like you and I have stepped out.
Right.
Somebody wants to come after us, they're going to come after us.
So my point is that none of that is bullying, right? Now, if all you did was attack him as a little weasel or Hitler's mini-me, but you didn't address like anything that would actually really talk about, expose his lack of credibility or his illogical arguments, and that's all you're doing, and you're following him all over social media or in real life, okay, now you've crossed the line.
Yeah, there's been, people that don't even, they know his face, they know who he is, but they don't even say anything to him in regards to any kind of political standing or anything that he's covered that they may disagree with or they may agree with. But if they disagree with him, they sit there and they get into his face and they start groveling and they have nothing to say. They don't back up anything. They have nothing to stand there and back it up with because they don't have the knowledge to back it up with.
Right.
So what do? They throw coffee in his face.
Right.
And they punch at him.
Right.
And that's wrong. Now that's wrong when they're not able to sit there and stand up with a good argument and say, okay, let's debate this.
Yeah. So, that's the only thing that Alex Jones did. He did attack his credibility, and he did attack those arguments of his as illogical. That's what everybody's done. No one has bullied David Hogg. You know, I'm talking about official individuals. I'm talking about people in the media, even alt media. I mean, there's been individuals in comments on Facebook and Twitter and YouTube, sure. But as far as bullying from Alex Jones, no, I wouldn't classify it as that at all. So it looks like we have some comments about beards and mustaches. Let's see. Mass Faith. This is Patriot Gallery saying, my ex had mustache, hate them, itch, irritating to the skin, hurt brother's face. Yeah, I like my beard. I mean, now look, if I got married, my wife said, you know, no beard, guess what? I'm not going to have a beard. But I like my beard. I do.
Now, I do like what Mouse Face had to say about child actors.
Yeah.
And, you know, it is true that, you know, it is the same problem as the Shirley Temple. You know, she was hated when she was young. I mean, when it came down to it, I remember I was really young, but I do remember a lot of that stuff coming about.
Mm-hmm. So Adeline seems to agree with me that the beard looks good on him, on Alex Jones. He's got a face for a beard, I'm telling you.
He's got the voice to go with it, too.
Say Perfect says, you speak American, it don't have to sound perfect as long as we understand. Well, I don't know, wait a while, you may not even understand it. Give me a little bit. Yeah, child actors have the same problem. Look at Shirley Temple. She hated it. Stopped acting.
Also, Silva had a few good comments up there.
Did he? Let's go up.
Yes, he did.
So, well, Say Perfect says, I can barely grow a mustache. Give it time. Give it time, Say. It's coming. It's coming. Let's see. Right. Let's see. Safer. PG-13. I don't. I thought we covered them. Yeah, we did. Okay. All right. You ready to get back to it?
Yep.
Oh, Eric's here. Eric Butler. Yeah. Eric Butler. Butler 2020. Here we go. Well, maybe we can push it back to 2024. We'll see. We'll see. You got my vote when you run, though. There we go. You the man.
There's no video. There's no statements.
And in the weeks after the shooting, Alex Jones's YouTube channel posted a video that was seen by 2.3 million subscribers, alleging that these were merely that these were actors and not real students who had experienced the most horrific thing anyone could.
False. That's a lie. That's a lie. That's not what he said. He said that the activists were just that. They were activists, that they were from the drama club, which is true. And there's evidence that everything was rehearsed. You know what's interesting is immediately, we're talking days after the Parkland shooting, there's pictures of them all smiling, having fun, getting on airplanes. Like, really? Yeah, you're grieving? Give me a break.
Right. Yeah.
David Hogg wasn't even there when it happened.
That's what they were doing. They didn't know the whole story yet.
Yeah.
They were going all over the place.
According to David, the admission by David Hogg himself, he was not there at the school when the shooting took place. He rode his bike there and then got in front of the cameras.
Yeah, and then there was another time that he said he was in the closet and he was on his phone.
Yeah. Yeah. He's
which one's right?
I don't believe he was even at the school.
And it's just like,
but pointing out that they are
that there and said, give the numbers up.
Right.
Share, you know.
So pointing out that they are
You're
in the
talking about
drama.
getting these numbers up, which I understand on Chris's channel. Yes, we got to get these up. But yeah, we've got to get more information out. They don't have all that information out either.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like they don't have all the information out on the Vegas shooting.
Right.
Either.
And that's something we're going to put together. But as much as what we can get.
Yeah, because I showed you a few things. I showed you a couple videos. That was interesting.
Yeah. So, I don't know. I forgot what I was going to say. I did.
You were talking about how he was lying, outright lying right here.
So yeah, he's outright lying. So basically, all I'm saying is that pointing out the fact that yes, they were in the drama club and drama class, they were actors. Yeah, Alex Jones never said that nobody died. He never said that.
Right.
Saying something is a false flag doesn't mean nobody died. It either means it was orchestrated by, the powers that be, or somebody for some nefarious reasons, or the narrative we are being told is wrong for some political reason. Vegas shooting, for instance.
Exactly.
Possibly imagine. The video violated YouTube's rules against bullying, and it was removed. An article posted to Slate.com describes this as a strike against the channel. Ms. Downs, how many strikes does a channel get?
Typically, a channel gets 3 strikes, and then we terminate the channel.
But the strikes don't stay forever.
Alex Jones obviously is a well-known conspiracy theorist whose brand is bullying.
Their moderators from Bloomberg, from the Southern Poverty Law Center, Bloomberg reported, falsely made claims that I said nobody died, and then I went and bullied them. David Hogg, a day after the event, started working with the Democratic Party and Soros, flying around on private jets, being anti-gun spokesperson. I said he's a PR man, and that he was an actor at the school, part of the drama club, so he's well-spoken, and he's been chosen to be anti-gun. I said, I believe people died, and I believe he's a real student. But they misrepresented and said that I bullied him and said that nobody died, even though he's a public figure. I would have a right to say that. I didn't say that.
All right. Pause that. So, basically what I just said, he said himself. So Alex Jones has filed lawsuits, and rightfully so.
Well, he's talking of filing lawsuits. I don't know if he actually has.
No,
done that yet.
it's earlier in that clip. He said he's filed lawsuit. He's in it. He's going after him.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he's going after him.
I know that when I just watched him here earlier, he had said that he was considering doing it, but he wasn't sure. Even though he's gone out there almost 40 times, I guess, and so many of them have just been thrown out automatically, and 13 of them right now have been thrown out. He's fighting like 10 of them right now that are still up there in the air, and that's what I had heard, but I didn't realize. I must have just missed that.
Right. So anybody just tuning in, Maya put a link in for Say Perfect's channel. Go check it out. It's good, clean comedy. Some good skits. Go check it out. Mass Faith 3 and their other channel as well, Resistance Chicks. Go check them out as well. Mass Faith 3, it's Leah and Michelle. They went live before we did. They finished their stream up. I guess it was probably 8:15. I think it was just after 8.
Yeah, just after. Yeah, because I was taking care of Tomato.
Yeah.
Out there, Stephen, while they were singing Amazing Grace. I could listen through the door crack while we were taking care of Tomato.
Yeah.
Really.
So, just a little pause. I just wanted to. I've decided. So I've been. I talk about my sauce all the time. I make this amazing sauce, Italian sauce. It's like a spaghetti sauce, but you can use it for all kinds of different things. But I am going to make this sauce next month when I make it, and I'm going to can it. I'm actually going to make 2 batches, one for me, and I'm going to make another batch, and I'm going to can it.
Oh.
I am going So now here's the thing. I'm going to have to go to my grandmother's. Well, it's an excuse to spend time with my grandmother anyway. She just turned 81 on July 5th. So happy birthday, Grandma Nelda. Happy birthday. But there is someone that will be receiving a package of canned, jarred, canned of my sauce, and they can do what they want with it.
I better get a jar.
Get a jar. Well, I gotta send enough for someone to make a meal out of it. It makes a lot. We'll see. Maybe my canned sauce could be part of the giveaway.
The giveaway.
Yeah,
that would be a good idea.
Yeah, a subscriber can get a box of my my homemade sauce. There you go.
Yeah.
Maya put a link in there for Mass Faith 3's channel, so yeah, go check them out. Anybody watching for the first time, or if you've never watched any of their content, some really good content them gals do.
Yes, very good.
Oh, and Eric Butler too. Eric Butler's got a channel. He's got some pretty fun little videos to watch, some cool streams. I think he does some streams. So if we can get links for Eric Butler's channel in there too. Don't forget, So What Angry's channel too. Not family friendly, but a lot of news. He does great research around the world. Yes. Yes. So What Angry. Go check him out. If you got a channel and you come in here and I know it, you're getting a shout out. I'm just saying.
Well, I'm shouting out myself.
Oh, and Kellie PB Fam, go check her out.
But at the same time, at least one of you said you're not an arbiter of the truth. And I'm trying to reconcile how you can have this information or
How my buddy's up.
and not be an arbiter of the truth. So I guess, Mr. Stretch, we can start with you because you said you're not an arbiter of the truth. If that is true, then what is disinformation?
So how would you answer that, Kellie?
Okay. You're gonna have to replay or say what quote the question again, because I was just looking at chat really quick and I did not hear the question when he was asking that.
Okay, misinformation and disinformation. But at the same time, at least one of you said you're not an arbiter of the truth. And I'm trying to reconcile how you can have disinformation or misinformation and not be an arbiter of the truth. So I guess, Mr. Stretch, we can start with you because you said you're not an arbiter of the truth. If that is true, then what is disinformation?
If you're not an arbiter of the truth, then what is misinformation?
Right, exactly. I mean, and he made that, and further into this, he will make a comment about, even though today might be Friday,
yeah,
I'm saying it's Thursday.
Yeah.
How can you tell me that it's different?
Right.
You know, and I mean, when you stand up and you have the means to say and have free speech, and you know, are you going to be censoring that? And if you are, what are you going? How are you going to go about censoring it and be fair in regards to free speech and what our constitutional rights are?
Right. Well, let's see what the response is.
Disinformation we think of as inaccurate information.
I think this guy's from
with
Facebook, by the way.
malicious intent by a foreign actor, and that would
This
not
guy
be
really
on our platform.
stumbles over
We don't
this.
need to decide whether the information itself is true or false to try to rid our platform of that. We don't want foreign actors masquerading as something they're not in order to speak on politically divisive issues in the country. That's easy.
So if I understand you.
So basically, it doesn't matter whether they're speaking truth or not, or facts. It's that they're a foreign actor. It's so. What about the BBC? talking about American politics. How's that any different? I'm just saying, right? They're not concerned about the facts. They're not arbiter of truth, so they don't care. It's to them. According to this statement, Facebook doesn't care whether they're putting out factual information or not. It's who are they? And we're going to see that applies to you and me. So,
right. If the actor is not authentic, then the content, whether it's accurate or not, is immaterial.
That's correct.
All right. And why would that analysis only be appropriate for foreign actors? Why would that not be appropriate for? I mean, there's been some discussion of voter suppression. There's also something called information suppression. I don't know how people benefit from demonstrably false information. So if that's the analysis for foreign actors, why would that also not be the appropriate analysis, period, across your platform?
That is our policy across our platform. So everyone who shows up to Facebook is required to be their authentic self, and most fake account activity is local to the country.
Those are two different things. I can be my authentic self and say today is Thursday. Now, what are you going to do with that?
We believe that you be permitted to say that.
Under what Constitution? Do you think the Constitution protects intentionally false statements?
He can't answer this question the way Trey wants him to answer it.
Right. All right. Well, let's hear it. This was a very pivotal point here. I think I just messed up another word. Pivotal point. Golly, I tell you what, I am not on the sauce. I am not drinking, I promise. I can't speak anymore.
With third string, we've done this on.
I know, I don't get it.
Be permitted to say that?
Under what Constitution? Do you think the Constitution protects intentionally false statements?
So we are trying to provide a platform for authenticity.
I'm with you. If we just, I assume you're a lawyer. I know your colleague to my right, your left, is a former AUSA, and I appreciate your service there. I assume all of you are lawyers. You wouldn't have the jobs that you have. So, is it constitutionally protected to utter an intentionally false statement?
So it depends on the context, but there is recent Supreme Court precedent on that. On Facebook,
on which side, that it is or is not?
That it is in most cases protected. However, on Facebook, our job is not to decide whether content is true or false. We do recognize that false
contradicted himself.
So, no, he's not.
Contradicted himself in that.
How did he
contradict? What he said earlier to what he said now.
Okay, explain how he contradicted himself. I think he's actually being consistent, but go ahead.
When he was talking, okay, he said that arbitrarily they were going through and they were looking at certain, for instance, certain wordings that would be said that is not factual. But yet, when he comes in and says this here,
right,
he's trying to cover his tracks by what he's saying, saying we have to be a little discretionary now and let a few things through.
Right.
So he's actually contradicting himself because before he was saying this is what we have to do.
Right.
And now he's saying we're going to let a little come through.
Right.
Because it's okay to have this little bit. The farther this gets in here, the deeper he digs himself into a hole in regards to Facebook.
He does, but I think he's being consistent. So he's being consistent in that he's saying it's not our job to be the arbiters of truth. It's not our job. It's whether or not the individual is
fake or not.
but yeah, whether they're legit, essentially. If they're a legit source and they're pushing basically if they're pushing what they want them to push, and he didn't actually say this, but that's what it is, right? They're not. Their justification is for censoring isn't that they're necessarily pushing fake news, right? This is Facebook. It's that it's an illegitimate source, it's a foreign source, or it's something along those lines. So you and I would fall under this category. We are not, to them, we're not a legit source. We're not CNN, MSNBC, or even Fox News. We are Chris and Kelly Live, giving our opinions on what's going on in the world.
Exactly.
The way in which we're addressing it is by trying to disrupt the financial incentives of those who are profiting from it, which is where most of it comes from. Most of the fake news problem is coming from low quality websites that are trying to drive traffic on every side of every issue.
Okay. He's talking about fake news for profit. That's exactly what the mainstream media is. They selectively choose facts, right? They spin false narratives for ratings, and ratings equals money.
Yeah.
How's that any different? You and I, Kelly, could come on here and just spin whatever crazy conspiracy tinfoil hat idea, right? You know what I mean?
Like the world's flat. It's two-dimensional.
The world is flat, or the sky isn't really the sky. We actually live in the center of a planet. What we see, just some craziness, right? And we could even present whatever, or we could start reporting on events and misrepresent everything, just like mainstream media does, actually, right? We could start reporting that, Hillary Clinton is a lizard lady, right? Like we could do that. We should be protected in doing so. That might
be true, though. You know that.
Yeah. Okay. So, I mean, but the First Amendment covers that, and there's nowhere in the First Amendment that dictates who exactly is and is not the press. It's just the press. What we are doing right now, we may not have press credentials, right? We are the press. We're just as much the press as CNN, NBC, whatever, right? We are just as much the press.
Exactly.
And even Benjamin Franklin, right? When he put out his papers, right? When he wrote his papers, he spun stories. He didn't tell the whole truth. I mean, so this is something the media has always done, right? Just some periods of time they actually had ethics and other times they didn't, So whether someone is reporting everything, there's still the media, there's still the press. Even if they're an activist, they're still the press. It's unethical. They shouldn't do it. Right? Did I just contradict myself, Kelly?
Yeah, you did.
I think I contradicted myself from what I said earlier. So yes, I mean, look, these. Let me further explain or dig myself a deeper hole. Wow. What is up with me?
You just did that.
I just did that. So listen. So the mainstream media, they're not journalists. They're the press, but they're not journalists. You see, it's not. You can be part of the press and be a commentator. You can be part of the press and be an activist, or you can be part of the press and be a journalist. That's what I'm saying. And so it's not freedom of journalists, it's freedom of the press. The press, whether the press is pushing false narratives or not, whether it is you and I telling the truth or spinning false narratives, it doesn't matter. It's all protected under the First Amendment. And so then I have to ask then, Kelly, I know this is kind of a rhetorical question because I know how you're going to answer this, but if we have our First Amendment protections of the press, right, and freedom of speech, right, and freedom of religion is in there too. Why is then our speech limited online? I mean,
because we are divided and the leftists are trying to take control due to the deep dark state trying to run this and overcome and wipe out anything that's going to come about for this next election.
Right. You know, just real quick, Kelly, I think this is going to be a really long stream because we have one more video to get through before this one. What I mean by video, like a video collage. This is part 1. So we're not quite 3/4 of the way through. So let's get going.
This is a topic that we really we're hitting hard.
I think we are. I'm a little embarrassed though. I'm going to go look at the comment section. I got my eyes closed. I'm kind of, I don't know if I want to see what everybody's saying. Let's see.
It's not bad. Actually, I'm watching it and there's some good, really good comments in there.
Okay. Well, let's see what we got. So Adeline, does Adeline have a channel? Massface says to subscribe to Adeline. Marie Robinson.
Yes.
Yeah.
I am. I'm already subscribed to her.
All right. I did not know she had a channel. We'll go check them out. Let's see. The reason why Zucker is saying Alex shouldn't be banned is because he's losing money. Yeah.
Look at what he's paying out.
Yeah. Mass Faith says, I watched that for 5 minutes. It hurt to be lied to. Had to turn it off. I guess she's talking about the hearing we're watching now.
Fortunately, this is a snippet of it.
And then Black and White, High Noon Style. Yeah, I'm doing that. That's my new thing now. I love Black and White when it comes to like showing the news. So if I'm showing a news clip or something, it's going to be Black and White. Just letting you know from now on. Nerve agent victim has been released from hospital. I guess that was in the UK. Is that the one you're talking about? Donna Terry says it appears to be one-sided freedom of speech. Excuse me, did I say freedom? Well, that's not freedom if it's one-sided. What is so hard about free speech? Oh yeah, people want to rule us. Yes. So what Angry says, yes, he's consistent in his lies. Yes. Okay. Somebody didn't agree with me.
Mass Faith has quite a few comments which are really good. And they're very truthful. Right. And you really have to watch yourself, you know, with the freedom of press, that you make sure that you tell the truth and that you are not misleading. But yet there is freedom of speech and you can give your opinion, but you cannot lie about it.
Right. Hilton makes a point. Hilton 11,000. BBC is part of the UK government establishment. It's government funded, if I remember right. Isn't that correct? And then Mass Faith 3 says, these guys use their free speech to lie and claim hate speech that isn't hate speech because lying is hate speech. The truth is love speech to censor those telling the truth. So hate speech is not a thing. So they label anything that they disagree with as hate speech, right? If you say it's not the color of the skin, but the quality of character, which is from Martin Luther King. I think I actually said that backwards, but that to them, that's hate speech because then you're denying someone's racial identity. No, we're all human, right? We're all people. We're all equal under God. You know what? I've said this many times. You know what? Your race is irrelevant. I don't care. Be proud of who you are, but it doesn't make any effect on me. Are you a good person? Do you have quality of character? That's all I care about. I don't care what color your skin is. Are you a good person? Eric Butler says, Earth is flat unless you live in Venezuela. Let's see. Lying is not covered under freedom of speech. Lying is not covered under freedom of speech. Free speech was written because you could not say anything negative about the ruling king of England or those lords, barons, those considered royalty. Lying is not covered under freedom of speech. Yeah, actually it is. Freedom of speech covers all speech. But you are right. That's where freedom of speech came from, was because in the UK or in England, prior to the Revolutionary War, like, you could be jailed and tortured if you said, you know, something against the ruling class, the nobility and royalty of there in the UK, in England. So she's right about that part, but lying is covered under freedom of speech. It covers everything, even falsehoods. So what says, Eric, you offended me? I guess I didn't catch the first part of that. Read the Constitution as written. Liars were shot. Okay. All right. I don't. Traitors are shot. I don't see where it said. I mean, I've read it, but it's been a very, very long time. Where does it say that liars are shot in the Constitution? I don't know. I'm not saying it's not there. I'm just saying I don't remember ever reading that.
No, neither were I. That's something I'll have to research.
In 1776. Well, I know it was in 7.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So I stand on my statement. I stand on it until I read otherwise. Lying is covered under freedom of speech. Freedom of speech covers all speech. There you go. All right, let's get back to this.
And by disrupting the financial...
Are we going to be in this like 4 hours again, Kelly? Maybe. Here we go.
We're able
we might need to make it a part 2.
We're also trying to make sure that users do know when a story has been disputed by a neutral third party and alerting users to that fact. Out there.
Well, I'm smiling only because on the last break, a couple of my colleagues and I were wondering who those neutral fact checkers are. And I really do appreciate your desire to want to have a neutral fact checker. You could let me know who those folks are. I'd be really grateful, because people in my line of work might take exception with the neutrality of some of the fact checkers. So if I understand you correctly, the authenticity of the speaker is very important. The accuracy of the content, less so.
That's how we approach it. That's exactly right.
All right. For the life of me, I do not understand how a republic is served by demonstrably, provably, intentionally false information. And I get it that you don't want to be the arbiter of opinion. I don't want you to be either. But today's not Thursday. So if I say it is, I swear I don't understand how my fellow citizens benefit from me telling them something that is demonstrably false, and I am saying it with the intent to deceive. I for the life of me, I don't get it, but I'm out of time.
Gentleman's time expired. Several members requested a second round. So with that, Mr. Ship.
That is really, really interesting. The authenticity is what matters, not whether it's factual or not.
Right. That's the reason why I pulled that.
Oh my goodness. All right.
Hi, everyone. Lisa Haven here. Well, Twitter.
Okay, just real quick, before we get into this, so this is a clip from Lisa Haven, a short clip from one of her videos. Would you, to the audience, our audience who doesn't know anything about Lisa Haven, this is your stuff. So, Kelly, if you could just give a descriptor of who Lisa Haven is.
Okay, Lisa Haven has her own little news YouTube channel, and she speaks about everything from politics to basically she covers everything in the news that would, I mean, she covers up to, you know, what would be a possible UFO that they may show. Okay, that somebody might think it's a UFO. Things like that. She believes in the Lord, but she tries to prove that giving out the proper news that needs to be given out, that's being hidden, she's out there more so, and she really gives out her true opinion and feelings about it.
Right.
By trying to stay neutral, but yet giving facts.
Right.
So I really enjoy watching her.
Right.
There are a few times I have had some discrepancies with her.
Right. Kelly, could you do me a favor, or maybe one of our moderators, if you could pull up Lisa Haven's YouTube channel and put a link in the chat?
Yes, I can.
So she's, I used to be a subscriber, actually. I'm not anymore. I don't know. I moved on. I was just subscribed to too many channels. She's a bit of a truther. She's a conservative. She's a Christian. I kind of bailed when she started talking about, like, you know, this is the end of the world kind of stuff. She kind of went on that for a little bit. And at the time I had, I think, 2 or 3 times as many subscriptions as I do now. And so I kind of went through a little purge, and hers was one that got purged. But that's not to say that doesn't have good content. She does have some really good content, she does have some good insights into things.
Just got busted shadow banning conservative news journalists, and they got busted via a website that I'm going to show you in just a moment. But this website exposes, you can easily just plug in your Twitter name and see if you're being shadow banned. But all right, so back to the report. Twitter is busted shadow banning, well, conservatives. Here's the actual website. This is on shadowban.eu. Now, this website went by another name not that long ago, and that one was completely shut down. This one, I'm not quite sure how long it will be available, so you want to check your names, and you want to check them sooner than later. But welcome back to the Truth Factory. No.
Okay, so shadowban.eu. If you could put that in the chat. I guess I could do that myself. That was,
yeah, I pulled her. I went and pulled her up. What you have to do, you'll have to go over to the right side of the page. You'll first have to go to the top, pick English if you speak English, and then go over to the right side, and it will have a tab where it says to test check for shadow banning.
Right.
And then you click that, and it'll open it up to the page that she was showing right there. Right. And I actually did resistance checks and mass faith, and they're both our resistance checks I did, and they were fine on Twitter.
Yeah.
Everything's being shown there, so they're not being shadow banned. I also did myself. I was fine. I did you, but it showed at the very bottom that you had some restrictions up.
Okay. All right.
And I actually sent you a picture of it. So later when you get a chance, you might want to take a look at it. There it is. But I think that's probably maybe some of your settings that you have that you might have personalized.
Right. Okay. So this last little clip we're going to show in this part of the segment. We're far from being done though. This is from the Truth Factory. That's, as you see on the screen, the Truth Factory, that's her channel. I've talked about her before. I think I showed one clip before. This is just part of this video. The Truth Factory is, she does the news. I think the clip I showed before was actually more comedy, but she does the news in a comedic way. She uses a cat for her avatar, but she's in character the whole time. She never breaks character. You'll see this. You're gonna laugh. So this is a little comedy take, a little bit. I mean, it's still serious stuff, but in a comical way. So I think you guys will enjoy this.
When I was a kitten, I envisioned the future with flying cars and robot maids. I mean, I guess we have Roombas now, and whatever it is Elon Musk made that's probably going to crash into an asteroid belt anyway. But let's just be honest. The future, for the most part, has been pretty disappointing. Except for maybe one great invention called the Internet, which is a series of tubes invented by Al Gore.
I took the initiative in creating the internet.
The Internet has replaced almost all annoying human interaction and has become a modern necessity for communication. It's also an addicting virtual haven where everyone has an equal opportunity to force their dickhead opinions onto others. I mean, at least it was up until now. Meet the Anti-Defamation League and the Southern Poverty Law Center. Perhaps you're already acquainted with these shadowy totalitarian speech dictators who have been...
These are the two organizations that are behind all of this censorship, by the way. That's the point of this video.
working with all of your favorite social media platforms in order to scrub the internet clean of hate. And by hate, what they really mean is when you hurt people's feelings, which at this rate will be a crime punishable by death by 2020. Now, these organizations are the reason for the recent purge of conservative and conspiracy YouTubers. Even though YouTube has said that this was just an accident, this was more than likely a beta test of the ADL's new hate speech index. The ADL recently admitted their creepy agenda in a very eerie video explaining how they're using AI technology to crack down on internet hate speech and to censor you for thought crimes. But don't worry, thanks to the reassuring soft piano music, it somehow makes you feel okay that they're monitoring and filtering your every word like an Orwellian nightmare.
ADL and the University of California at Berkeley's D-Lab have been working to develop a new approach to tackle online hate using the latest methods.
So basically, we built these Antifa bots to scan through your shit and determine if you're Hitler.
And to use that information to address the problem. By combining artificial intelligence and machine learning with social science, the online hate index will ultimately uncover and identify trends and patterns in hate speech across different platforms.
Wait a minute, I gotta back this up because we want to look at, I want you to look at this, what they consider words to be worried about.
ADL and the University of California at Berkeley's D-Lab have been working to develop a new approach to tackle online hate using the latest methods.
So basically, we built these Antifa bots to scan through your shit and determine if you're Hitler.
And to use that information to address the problem. By combining artificial intelligence and machine learning with social science.
Nation, society, women, Jew, black, hate, white.
The online hate index will ultimately uncover and
guns are cool, the Donald, white rights, men's rights. When is men's rights something bad? Right? Mm-hmm. Everyone should have rights, men included.
It mentioned capital letters, you know, is all. Yeah. I was like, oops, because I have a tendency to write in capital letters all the time.
Republican. Ask Trump's what it conspiracy. These are words. New right. These are 911 truth. These are what? Like if I put in guns are cool, are you serious? That's hate speech? Are you kidding me?
That's what it's saying right there.
Guns are cool is hate speech now. Really? Man.
Yeah.
Somebody needs throat punched. I'm sorry. Just
identify trends.
Oh no, you're probably gonna have Steven and Eric.
Like probably she's talking about you and myself, and you're not allowed to say any of those words in those colorful bubbles anymore, like Jew or women or old white people, because racists use words, and therefore words are racist. Sorry, bigots.
We've just completed our first phase of research, and we found that the machine learning model identified hate speech accurately between 78 and 85% of the time.
You know, if that AI were a high school student, it would have a 2.7 GPA and would only be able to get into community college. But don't look at those huge margins of error. Just let our substandard AI decide what thoughts of yours it should erase based on how many times you said the word old. Get over it, you dirty ageist.
In the next phase of our project, we will look at specific targeted populations in a more detailed manner.
In the next phase of our project, we'll send a drone to your house to euthanize you with coconut-scented knockout gas. If you don't do anything wrong, you have nothing to fear. We're here to protect you from yourself. So stay where you are, Nazi. The drone is on its way.
We believe the online hate index will help tech companies better understand the extent of hateful content on their platforms by creating community-based definitions of hate speech.
Why do they need to create community-based definitions of hate speech? Why not just, I don't know, use the First Amendment as a guide? If you need to delete or ban all arguments that go against your narrative for you to be right, maybe you're actually wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good point. Let's listen to that again.
Maybe you're actually wrong.
One more time. Here we go.
Why do they need to create community-based definitions of hate speech? Why not just, I don't know, use the First Amendment as a guide? If you need to delete or ban all arguments that go against your narrative for you to be right, maybe you're actually wrong.
Yeah. That's an interesting point.
Oh, wow.
So let's look at the chat. So let's see. Is ADL affiliated with CARE? Probably. I mean, not officially, I don't think, but I'm sure. So Mass Faith says, love the kitty. Yeah, yeah. So I'm not really a cat person, but this cat talks and is cute and funny. I like this kitty. Shield Maiden says, I love the Truth Factory. Yeah, me too. I like when people disagree. They are being honest. Don't believe me. Believe only God. Yeah. Hey, there you go. I actually really agree with that statement. I like when people disagree. They are being honest. Don't believe me. Believe only God.
Oh.
It's
okay. Stevie Crockett's having a little issue of zipping his mouth and being a little angry and showing emojis.
okay. What we
He's
got?
fired up a little bit.
Yeah. He's here. You go. I love kitties. Yeah. You know, I like cats if they're other people's cats or they're outside. No inside cats.
I got 5 dogs and 3 cats.
Yeah. So what Angry does say, he says this, they go after straight white male Christians. Yeah, that's seriously, that's the one group that isn't allowed to have an opinion or air any grievances. Where would we be without the government saving us from ourselves? Eyes rolling. Yes. That is true. I agree with that 100%, Maya. That's why the seatbelt has since been dubbed the tyranny strap. It is. I don't need saving. I'm grown. I'll do what I want.
Yep. Exactly.
All right, so we're gonna move on now. I think we're actually gonna get through this next bit of content actually rather quickly. We're not gonna spend as much time. We're gonna be going over a little bit, talking about Free Tommy. There's probably a lot more information that you have, Kelly.
Yeah,
that isn't actually included in this, and so we'll play this video and then we'll talk about it. I do believe Mass Faith 3 in their stream earlier today, I think they did talk about the Tommy Robinson appeal. So go check that out. I've just got one little short clip on that as part of this. So
That's Tommy Robinson. You might have seen him here or more recently online. In late May, Robinson was arrested outside Leeds Court. That very same day, he was sent to jail. He's now looking at 13 months behind bars. Since then, there's been organised protests across the country in London, Manchester, Leeds. People in their thousands are marching for Robinson's release. Some protests turned violent. Many believe his arrest and imprisonment is unfair or illegal. So, is it? 2017, and Tommy Robinson's outside Canterbury Court, filming an ongoing trial where 4 men were convicted of gang raping a drunken 16-year-old girl.
This particular clip is, I believe it is comparing the BBC reporting to Fox News reporting. I do believe. I put it together, but I don't. What's wrong with me, Kelly? Did you
Nothing.
did you
Nothing.
did you slip some stupid pills in my drink? Did you drive 2 states? Slip some? Somebody did. Was it? Did Maya? Come on now. Somebody did. What is wrong with me?
Robinson live streamed the defendants walking into court. He also spoke about the case and filmed inside the court's entrance. Because of this video, he was given a 3-month jail sentence. He was suspended for 18 months as long as he didn't commit any more offences. Fast forward a year, and now Tommy Robinson is outside a trial in Leeds, and this time he appears to do the same thing again.
All right, let me pause this because I got to read it. Here you go. Same thing again. The second time he didn't film from inside the court entrance. He filmed from the street on a case where the trial had ended and shared information that was already public. Not the same thing.
Exactly, because he had a paper right there.
Yeah.
That's what gets me, is that he was actually quoting some of the stuff that was actually written in
that's
paper.
all he did was give his opinion, but most of what he did was just he read from a newspaper.
Exactly.
Here we go.
It's the verdict. So the trial's ended, the jury are making their mind
This
up.
time he was arrested and he was immediately jailed for 13 months in relation to the original crime back at Canterbury.
Of course, a breach of peace. I'm being arrested.
But the content of what you're supporters say it's an issue of free speech.
And we are here to tell the world, and the UK government in particular, free Tommy Robinson.
No one's muzzling Tommy Robinson. This is about protecting someone's right to a fair trial.
The trial had ended. This is absolutely about free speech. Tommy Robinson is a political prisoner. He's serving a draconian sentence on trumped-up charges. Absolutely.
Exactly.
It's exactly what it is.
Yeah, and they also, if
ultimately,
you guys
he's in
didn't know,
prison.
that they also went and wrote to Trump to ask for his help.
Yeah.
With freeing Tommy.
Of contempt of court laws, and yeah, it's complicated. So here's an expert to break it down.
If a person is standing trial and they are accused of a very serious criminal offence, if you were allowed, or anyone was allowed, to publish anything about this person online, whether true or not, and we're obviously all very familiar with the idea of fake news, that said that they were guilty or that they had a history of doing exactly the same to 10 different people, that would be highly prejudicial to their rights to a fair trial.
No, once again, the trial had ended, but speaking publicly is not interfering with the trial.
Right.
Even when after the trial, once the trial has begun, right? The jurors are they not sequestered in the UK?
I don't know that. I do know that you carry the last that I knew.
Right.
Now, whether this has been changed, that they actually when something major happens, you have 3 judges there.
Right.
Which instead of like the United States, we go to the Supreme Court.
Right.
And then we go from there, and then we see the old lady sitting there in the chair. So I had to make that little comment.
So I'm sure in the UK they consider the American legal system to be odd, but I'm telling you, the UK legal system is odd. Like, it's odd. It's odd. So even before the trial has begun, private citizens have the right to voice their opinion and proclaim whatever, even if it's wrong. Look, it routinely people are charged with a crime and they are convicted in the court of public opinion. Happens all the time. That's how that works. Public opinion in a fair judicial system doesn't have any real effect on the outcome of that court proceeding, because once the court proceeding takes place, the jury is sequestered. They don't have access to what's being reported in the news, what people are saying out on the street. They're sequestered. That's what that means.
That's right. At least that's what happens in the United States.
Right. But in this particular instance, the trial had ended. So nothing he was doing was affecting a trial at all.
Right. And I mean, I watched that live stream when he got caught, and they were taking, when the cop took his phone and everything away from him, and or I say cop, but what are they called over there? I can't even think what they're called now. What have you done to me?
So this statement here doesn't have any bearing on the UK, but wrong. In the United States, a jury is sequestered if on a high-profile case where the judge doesn't want outside influence of the decision. The entire country is not sequestered, as the U.S. has freedom of speech and freedom of the press. The UK used to. They obviously don't now.
No.
But
no, because I mean, unfortunately, you know, look at all the immigrants that are in there.
But the UK is not a free country. They can't be a free country if they have hate speech laws and no freedom of speech and political prisoners. They are a tyrannical government. So, but the UK is not the US or part of the US. So the statement really doesn't have any bearing on what's going on with Tommy Robinson. Interesting.
Right.
Interesting.
And Mr.
statement.
Eric, my husband corrected me and said that they're called constables over there.
Oh, they're law enforcement? Yeah.
Yeah, constables are the law enforcement. At least by what he told me. So.
Buried every day beneath the details of the trial, locked every...
Let me come back here. So the example, the O.J. Simpson trial.
266 days. That is how long the jury was sequestered. Buried every day beneath the details of the trial, locked every night on the 5th floor of this hotel, 5 blocks from the courthouse. Life in sequestration was full of pressure. Jurors could never...
I'm wondering if I got the wrong video. I mean, this is good. We need to look at it. But I'm wondering if this is the right video. Did I get the wrong one, Kelly?
I don't know, because I have not seen this one. You've got me blind on this side.
It's them stupid pills again.
Lock the doors to their rooms, never go for a walk alone, never talk on the phone without a deputy listening. They ate cafeteria style with no alcohol allowed. Often feeling like prisoners themselves, they shared 2 TV sets and watched court-approved movies.
They were allowed to watch major sporting events and things like that. They just had to be sure that when a commercial came on, that it didn't have anything to do with the case.
U.S. treats jury members as adults. We trust them to follow instructions and have integrity. We don't exploit them.
Until the trial is over.
So this is what...
Let me go back and read that. The U.S. treats jury members as adults. We trust them to follow instructions and have integrity. We don't exploit them as an excuse to suppress free speech. What kind of fascist government would do something like that? Yeah. Exactly.
Until the trial is over.
So this is why Tommy's been jailed, because he live streamed the defendants entering court and spoke about the defendants during the ongoing trial. His actions could close down the entire case. That's more time and more money to reach a verdict. Oh, and it's worth noting, Tommy Robinson himself pleaded guilty to the charges.
Because they lied and told him it would be a light sentence, maybe 13 months in prison for contempt of court, along with a media blackout that lasted 4 days. Not only did he get 13 months.
Is the author of the fantastic book, The Strange Death of Your...
One thing.
Yeah, he got the 4 days. Yeah, on top of it.
This is the right video. So now, that part's over. Now we're going to look to see how Fox News is reporting this, right? So, but what he's leaving out is the fact that it's not just 13 months. He's not in a minimum security prison. He's not in a jail. He's in a maximum security prison with a, was it over 70% Muslim population?
73%.
Yeah, with people who want him dead. And not only that, so that he's not murdered in prison, he's in solitary confinement for 23 hours out of the day. He gets 1 hour to come.
Pad and a pillow. It's like the blue pad you take camping. That's
here.
I mean, look at how it's just terrible.
For what he's charged with here in the United States. Now, mind you, Supermax, you actually get that, right? But that is like, that's cruel and unusual.
Exactly. And like what said, he's 23 hours solitary, and 1 hour he gets out.
Yeah, and that's only to go into like a cage, like a little yard to get a little exercise by himself. Like he doesn't and for his protection, obviously, but so he's punished because and kept in solitary confinement because people want to murder him. That, I mean, they have to have something else in place, you know. I mean, in our prison systems, for instance, there is a protective custody, right? Well, this is where they typically put the rapists and child molesters, so they won't be murdered in general population. But yeah, I mean, they still have the same freedoms. They're just not in general pop. You telling me the UK can't do that? All right, so let's look and see how Fox News covers this. I think there's going to be quite a bit of the Tuck.
Oh.
The Tuck being Tucker Carlson.
Tucker Carlson.
Love this guy. Love it. He's got a baby face, though. He's older than me a little bit, but he looks young.
Europe. He has followed Robinson's case from the beginning. He joins us now. Mr. Murray, thank you for coming on. I'm not surprised that this is happening because the people in power always try to tamp down on dissent. That's always been the case. I'm surprised by the reaction to it. How much press has this gotten in the UK? How much outrage has it evoked? What's the response?
Well, it's been remarkable. There was actually a reporting restriction on the fact that Robinson had been arrested and sent to prison within hours. There was actually a reporting restriction on that in the UK that made it impossible for any British journalist like myself to write about it for some days, which meant that the international media picked it up, but here in Britain we weren't allowed to talk about it. There's an ongoing trial, a rape gang trial.
Wait, may I just stop you right there? So what would, I mean, groups of people in similar professions go on strike all the time. Why wouldn't journalists in UK say, we're covering this, tell them if you don't like it, come and arrest us? Why would they obey an order like that?
Well, we do have pretty strict contempt orders here in the UK, and if basically anyone who would have reported it would have ended up risking going to prison themselves. So it's a very tricky one.
In other words, the government controls the media. Didn't I just say that?
There is one, by the way, very quick justification for this, which is that there is an ongoing trial which he was reporting outside of, and there's a problem about reporting on that trial. Again, I'm sitting in London, so I have to be rather careful about mentioning that trial.
It's unbelievable. So and I know his politics, which I don't even fully understand, and I don't even care what they are, but I sense they're very different from those of most reporters in Great Britain.
I want to point out something that in Europe, and look, this is what's coming our way if we don't turn the tide. In Europe, the rights and feelings of Muslims are more important than human rights and civil rights and religious freedom and freedom of speech for the native populations. Let's not offend the Muslims.
Britain, but has there been support for him from journalists in the UK?
No, not really. I mean, this is something I write quite a bit about in my book, In the Strange Death of Europe, which is that basically we have in Britain as across Europe this primary and secondary problem issue, whereby you have a primary problem, as in this case, thousands and thousands of young British girls who've been raped by gangs of men we euphemistically describe as Asian.
British media was forced to call Pakistani Muslim men Asian. This is not a joke.
Well, they don't include any China.
So this is something we've all seen, right? Coming from, I mean, Mass Faith 3 has covered this. They've talked about this before. So Asian, when you say Asian, you think Chinese, Korean, Japanese, Vietnamese. So Pakistan is in the continent of Asia. So technically speaking, they are Asian, but they're not. They're not Asian in the traditional sense of the word. So, and they specifically do that so as not to identify them by their nation of origin or their religion or their actual race. They just lump them all together as Asian.
Right, because they have, unfortunately, eyes that are not opened all the way. I didn't want to say be rude.
Well, no, I mean there's no similarities between the Chinese and the Pakistani in regards to how they look. In fact, the Pakistanis have much more in common, ethnically speaking, to those in India, the Hindu.
Right.
In fact, many of them have the same or similar accent. I had done a stream a while back, I think it was last month, where I interviewed, it was just me. You weren't in that one, Kelly, but where I interviewed a young man, pro-US guy, college student.
Yeah, I watched that. Yeah.
And there, the topic of his accent came up. If you go back and listen to it, the audio isn't as good as I wish it had been. But if you listen to his accent, it sounds very similar to the Indian Hindu accent. Because at one time,
you mentioned that, didn't you? In your video,
yeah,
you were talking about how
as he said, like for up until just the 1940s, late 1940s, Pakistan was part of India. It was India.
Chinese or Koreans, that we've had thousands of people who've been raped by these gangs. That's the primary problem. The secondary thing is that there are people who then say, look at what's happening. And actually, as I've said on this case, as with many others, the law and everything else comes down incredibly hard on the secondary thing. Indeed, sometimes harder than on the primary issue. I wrote about this, by the way, the other day at the Gateson Institute website. You can see the piece about, I said, let's just compare the treatment of Tommy Robinson, who's been, whether you agree with him or not, trying to draw attention to the rape gang stuff, and the one official from the county council in Oxfordshire who was in charge of child services when hundreds of girls in her area were raped and abused. And it turned out that the council knew about a whole load of it, and they just ignored the families. Now, Tommy Robinson is now in jail. That woman at the county council in Oxfordshire got a £250,000 payoff several years later to leave the council, and now, wait for it, is running the tourist agency Visit Oxfordshire.
Your society really hates itself.
So
when did that?
I want to read that here.
Your society really hates itself.
Only an explanation for allowing girls to be raped and turned into drug addicts while protecting and even rewarding the criminals involved.
Wow.
That's a pretty astute. Yeah. You must hate yourselves, or, you feel like you must atone for something, right?
Definitely.
Like this is, how is this really any different than Opus Dei? If you don't know what Opus Dei is, it's like a far fringe element of the Catholic Church. It's a fringe order, and they still do penance through flagellation. Like they still beat themselves, right?
I've heard of it.
Which this is exactly this brings that to mind. That's like what all of Europe is doing, self-flagellation at this point, to the point of their own destruction.
Honestly, that actually was brought up in a video that I actually was watching, that they were talking about that they were doing to themselves. I'll have to see if I can find that video again.
All right, I'm gonna let this play, but you're right. We're right.
Did that start?
Well, my view is, you see, this is all an expression of an incredibly wide societal cowardice, and it starts off in a country like Britain with kind of good manners. You know, we sort of want everyone to get along. We want to be nice to each other. We want to be nice to people who are incomers and so on. And then you discover terrible things that are going on. Minorities within minorities, but nevertheless, you discover things that are going on. And then you get to this really weird position that we're in at the moment. It's the position I describe as the one that says in multiculturalism, well, we've got a bit more gang rape than we used to, but then there's a wider range of cuisines. So
It's unbelievable.
who's to say?
I recognize that. I wish we had more time. Mr. Murray, thank you. Great to see you.
Thank you.
I didn't catch it in time.
Great to see you.
Thank you.
I wanted to catch it. When you have a grooming gang problem, but it's okay because you arrest people talking about the problem instead. Pretty much. So of this whole situation, what is your take on it?
Honestly, I feel that with them taking their freedom of speech away, I mean, they took that away. They started taking that away a long time ago.
Yeah.
And they are now trying to bring them into the one world order.
Yeah.
Is what I'm personally thinking.
Yeah, that's
in my own thoughts, because of the fact of allowing all the immigrants to come in, and for them not to be able to say anything freely. And I mean, Tommy's white. He can't step out there and say something freely, which he read from a paper.
Right.
If he was a Muslim, that would have never happened to him.
Right. You're right. So if we look at what's going on in the UK and Europe as a whole, just look at the whole thing, right? Coming back to the self-flagellation, everything, okay? Now, I'm not saying everybody that is on that side believes this way, but this is the motivation behind all of this, in my opinion, right? So we come back to globalism and globalists, and we've talked about before how the goal is, and this isn't a conspiracy theory, like this is a stated fact, about how they want to reduce the world population down to, what was it, 500 million?
500 million.
500 million people. So you look at what they're doing to Europe, that is going to lead to civil war. And it's already, if you really want to think about it, it's already begun in like Sweden and France. If you really want to think about it, if you really want to put it into perspective.
That's very, very true, because my Swede friend that we're going to be bringing on here at some point, either tomorrow or next Saturday.
Okay.
And we're going to be able to talk to, he's really upset at how much his country has changed.
Yeah. I'm curious to hear from him.
Really deep in the deep dark state, and how they are really pushing the agenda of a one world order. And they're upset because of Trump and Putin talking, which all presidents have done that. They've all talked to him, but yet they're getting to the point where, he's in bed with Putin.
Yeah. Yeah. We get on to Trump. You know, there was a lot of stuff that happened here in the U.S. that we could have covered today, but there's only so many hours, so much time. We'll have to get to that in another stream. We could do, we could talk about that here, but we could potentially do another stream. Not tonight.
That's another stream in itself.
Yeah, not tonight, but maybe this weekend or early next week.
Or even a test stream.
That could be what we do on the test stream. There you go. All right, so let's go. So now this is a real short clip, this next one.
Ezra Levant here for the Rebel.media. I am outside the Royal Courts of Justice on the Strand in Westminster, which is really just a neighborhood of London. 3 of the most senior judges in the entire United Kingdom, including the Lord Chief Justice himself, are presiding over the appeal. Tommy Robinson has 4 lawyers on the other side, a lawyer for the Attorney General of the United Kingdom. We haven't heard from him yet. We'll hear that after this short break. The 2 big headlines coming out of the case today so far are, number 1, Tommy is not just appealing his sentence, but rather the conviction itself, and he's actually appealing his Canterbury conviction from a year ago. The second is the shocking treatment of Tommy by the authorities, especially in prison, refusing to allow him to meaningfully confer with his own lawyers. The details were just amazing. I'm pleased to say that the judges are allowing us to live tweet from the courtroom, subject only to a publication ban covering a rape gang trial in Leeds. So if you want,
so they're allowing them to tweet from inside. I mean, that's good. That's very good. Why?
He's been able to have that for since it was like a week or so after he was put into solitaire.
I'm very surprised they're allowing that. So now I've said this before. Last time we talked about Tommy, which I think was last Friday, wasn't it? We did it. I think we did the whole stream, or tried to do the whole stream on Tommy, I think. Well, anyway,
we did do it. We did do a stream on Tommy.
So, oh my goodness. Oh my goodness, Kelly.
What?
Oh my goodness. I can't. What was I going to say? All right. Never mind. Never mind. All right, let's go.
Want a lot of detail minute by minute, I encourage you to follow me on Twitter, or we'll post this and other videos as we make them at TommyTrial.com. For the Rebel.media, I'm Ezra Levant. I'm here in London at Tommy's Court of Appeal hearing. For all of my updates, go to TommyTrial.com.
All right, so that's the end of the Tommy content. We got one more story to cover. This is from Red Pill Shark, I do believe. With Tommy, the whole thing with them allowing them to tweet in there, I'm really, really, really surprised. I remember what I was going to say. I'm really, really, really surprised about that. So anyway, what I said in that stream that we did was that, the momentum, it seemed, was dying down for the free time. Right? So that momentum is dying down, and I think a lot of that is because there just isn't a whole lot of news coming out. This is more news. Now, here's the thing. I do know that, in my opinion, well, I guess I shouldn't say I do know that. In my opinion, in my humble opinion, am I humble? Maybe not. Anyway, in my opinion, when Tommy Robinson gets out, he's going to be at the head of a freedom movement. They have created a monster. Even if he survives and is released, they have made a martyr out of him, regardless.
Exactly, and it's awakening the country up, which is good. And if when he does get out, which I'm praying that it's not it's when he gets out that it's really going to open up a lot of people's eyes, and it's going to, I pray, scare the immigrants.
I do think that he's going to survive his sentence.
I feel it too. I feel that he will too.
I'm not,
because God's with him. He's got God and God's angels protecting him, and people praying for him at all times.
That and the government knows they have to keep him safe, because if he dies in prison,
it'll make him a martyr, and it's going to tear, and then that country's going to go nuts.
It's going to be a revolution. It will. I'll tell you what, and rightfully so. All right. So this next story is about. So if you remember the hurricane that went through Puerto Rico, it hit Puerto Rico and I think Florida, but it did a lot of damage to Puerto Rico. And there was this whole disaster relief. And there was this mayor down there, And there were Fox, Tucker. There's several media sources that were reporting, and you can see this on social media too, that there was all this food, but people were not getting food, and she was saying people were dying when there was no reports of death. Right, this mayor. So she was just recently arrested for fraud in connection with that whole thing. She even did a press conference talking about how there was no food in front of all these pallets of food and water.
I heard about that.
I believe Leah Michelle of Mass Faith 3 did a whole big segment on that when it happened.
What you're looking at here is a man digging through rotten food which was destroyed after being delivered to Puerto Rico in response to Hurricane Maria ravaging the island. Now, the Daily Wire reported that this was actually food found in a dumpster, but I think it looks a little more like food in the back of a truck which was left exposed to the elements for multiple days and destroyed by both the elements and wild animals. But there's a lot of good news recently in Puerto Rico. Most notably, people once again on the island largely have power, and a full 96% of people are now back on clean drinking water. And all it took was the arrest of a corrupt mayor and two underhanded accomplices. But more on that in just a second. But the reality of Puerto Rico is that this place was a disaster long before Hurricane Maria ever touched the island.
Ain't that the truth? Puerto Rico is very, very, very corrupt. I mean, extremely.
Yeah, I have a friend that his family lives in Puerto Rico, and I actually do editing for him, and it was bad down there. Unless you were in, a high-end city, if you're on the outskirts or in the country, it is really bad.
So I'm just gonna say this. I am concerned that the situation in Puerto Rico and what you find in Mexico, Central and South America, all that corruption you see. Look, we've got the deep state here in the U.S. and there is a tremendous amount of corruption. Yes, not to this scale, but that's what we have in our future if we're not successful in exposing and draining the swamp. Just saying.
With a low median income of $20,000, $72 billion of debt, and failing infrastructure identified years back, it's no surprise the response went as poorly as it did. But it gets even worse from here. The utility companies on this island have long been known for corruption. They boast both bloated salaries and extraneous staff. But what makes things even more heinous is that it has been alleged that these utility companies extorted and took bribes from homeowners to have their utilities, their electricity restored. But that's not where it ends. They even took bribes from club owners, from restaurant owners, etc., to restore power to their businesses before restoring power to critical infrastructure such as hospitals. But to just put that last little cherry on top, these utility workers are even being accused of restoring power to their personal property before beginning work on many critical pieces of infrastructure. But knowing all of this, it's no surprise that plenty of aid might have been delivered to this island, but very little of it was ever actually delivered, at least not timely. It's almost laughable the mainstream media has attempted to tie this travesty on President Trump. But Trump was never one to take things lying down, and as he so aptly put in a tweet, the poor leadership by the San Juan mayor and other elected officials are the reason for this poor disaster response. But you don't have to take it just
September 30th, 2017. Look, how many times has Donald Trump said something and then been criticized and attacked in the media as being a lie, and then it comes out being truthful? So the left is always saying Donald Trump is a liar, right? He's always lying. He actually doesn't.
No.
He may exaggerate sometimes, but he doesn't lie. He actually doesn't lie. If he says something that you do not believe is factual, what is Kellie? keep your stupid pills. Keep them away from me. All right. So
you need a glass of tea with honey in it.
There you go. If you don't think that Donald Trump said something that's factual, just wait a while. Wait a bit. Wait a month if you have to. Wait two.
I mean, I still question, and I think he's pushed. He was pushed into making that conference in regards to this correction on what he said would and wouldn't.
Well, he did misspoke or misspeak.
Yeah, and no, but I really think he truly did mean that.
Right. So
that's my personal opinion.
We haven't looked at the comments here. Let's come up here and take a look. So
it's been very active. I've been watching it.
So Germany and Australia offered Tommy asylum. I would rather pick Australia. Yeah. And that's saying something, because so what? Angry is German. Yeah, yeah, between those two. Yep. A Thunder Pinky says, thanks for the clip. La Resistance. There's a clip. What clip was that?
I'm not exactly sure which one it was.
Okay, well, thank you for the clip, I guess, whatever it was. It might have been something I asked for. I don't remember. Where was I at? Pinky. It's easier to blame the victim than fix the problem. Donna Terry says England is gone. The country has been taken over and is now a Muslim country. So of course speech is controlled. It's a very astute observation. They essentially have blasphemy laws. That's basically what hate speech laws are. Mass Faith says it all comes down to free, easy money equals printed. Gold and silver is what everyone should be talking about. Arrest these people for not using real wealth they made, earned gold and silver. So I completely agree with that, but I don't know how relevant it is to this. But yeah, that is true.
I was watching that yesterday, what silver was doing all day. And I actually watched the market, and I've been talking to May about it and the differences of price. And it had gone down, and it spiked up really super high and jumped back down. I mean, it almost, bottomed out for a few moments, and then it started working its way back up. And yesterday it was $15.50 for an ounce. And she's saying it's $15.60, and then we were just talking. She's saying a few days ago it was $15.36. So yeah, I watch that quite often, and I watch it for the daily on how much it goes up and down. And there was a major spike and drop yesterday.
Really? So Owen's here, says hi, Kelly.
Yes, he always does. I love Owen. He's a sweetheart.
Thunder Pinky says, hey, Devil Wolf, sorry I missed your shows. Looking for the next one. So we got a Devil Wolf 7666 says Misery Loves Company. Yeah. So welcome, Devil Wolf. Glad to see you in. If you have your own channel, if someone could put a link in the chat here for his channel. Just in case this is your first time tuning in, Devil Wolf. Anytime that comes into my chat, if you've got a channel and I know about it, we plug you. We give you a plug. So Devil Wolf 7666, I guess, has a channel. Go check it out. How can Bezos have $150 billion? How is that possible? All stolen out of the air money. I don't know if it's stolen, but it may not necessarily have been done in an honest way. I would bet, if I was a betting man, I'd say it wasn't. Massface says people will fight for their money. Gold and silver cuts out corruption. Okay. Yes. Owen says, hi, Chris Holman. Yeah. Hey, Owen. if Trudeau gets in again for another term, we will have Sharia in Canada. We already have M103, pretty much. For governments just print money. So what says 4 billion tons of gold almost. Bezos could buy 4 billion tons of gold. Yeah, I don't doubt it. That's a lot of gold. Donna Terry says, this is the last one. Unfortunately, we have wolves at our door. How long will we be able to help keep them at bay? It is only a matter of time. You and I cannot print up money, so it isn't fair to everyone. They will always be our masters. Yes, mark your territory. Yeah, so I mean, getting into currency, it was not really a topic I wanted to talk about, but our fiat, our currency, our fiat currency. I mean, basically, the Federal Reserve controls it, but they have no money. They write checks out of accounts with no money in it. There's this secret tax, or not. It's not a tax. What do they call it? Well, basically, they get the value of the money. The banks do. They get the value of the money before, it loses value.
Percentage.
Yeah. There's this percentage drop that we have that they don't. And if with a paper currency, you need more money, you just print it. Never mind that every time you do that, you devalue the dollar. Since the formation of the Federal Reserve, the value of the dollar has dropped just over 97%. I think I believe it was a few weeks ago, Mass Faith 3, Leah and Michelle, in one of their streams, they talked about, I believe it was Michelle that mentioned it, that the dollar today is worth less than 3 cents.
2 cents. It's actually 2 cents.
Well, maybe, I don't know. This is what she said. That it was worth less than 3 cents of what it was worth in 1911 or it was just before the Federal Reserve. Mass Face says money is the root of all evil. It is the answer. Printed money is the corruption. Actually, money is not the root of all evil. The love of money is the root of all evil. Just say it. But yes, money, the love of money breeds corruption. It breeds greed. It breeds oppression. The love of money and greed is what fuels socialism and communism. What happens under a socialist government and a communist government? All of the nation's wealth is centralized in the state, in the control of a very few. Everybody lives in just utter poverty, except for your oligarchs and which are connected to the state, and and government officials. They live in absolute luxury while everyone else is starving, literally starving to death, and doing without basic necessities. But I don't think that just money itself is the root of what's going on in Europe. I'm sure that it's part of it. It has more to do with control, and the globalists are playing on this whole collective guilt, which I don't see how all of Europe would have collective guilt. So I could see some justification for Germany to have maybe some collective guilt, maybe, but not really. I mean, no one in government, in the German government that I know of, was a member of the Nazi Party, right? How many people in Germany today were alive as an adult during the reign of the Nazi Party? Or who were responsible for the atrocities of the Holocaust? I would say very, very few. And those that they're so old. And that isn't even collective guilt. The vast majority of the German people were not Nazis. It comes back to the whole silent majority, right? If the silent majority doesn't speak up and do anything, bad stuff happens. So what Angry says, hardly anybody. Yeah. So even then so I could see, okay, well, Germany as a nation did this. It's bad. I feel bad about it. Like, I get it. But as an individual, like, why should you be forced to feel any guilt? Why do the French have to have any collective guilts over their past, right? Or the Spanish, or the English, or the Swedes, or the Finnish, or the Norwegians? No. Here's the thing: you're responsible for your own actions. You're not responsible for what other people did in the past. All right, we kind of went off on a little tangent there.
Yeah.
I think it was a good one, though.
Mass Faith also the final comment.
Okay, let's see what we got. Fed just print money. Our government is $20 trillion in debt. They don't have it. It isn't real. They didn't tax it. Yeah, I mean, so you can only go into debt so far before you file bankruptcy, right?
Right.
And so we're getting back in the economy, but for every dollar in our current U.S. economic system, for every dollar that's created, $2 of debt are created, right? Right. So right now, our economy is doing good, and money is being made. So is debt. That's how that works. You have to balance a budget. Now, if you create twice as much debt as the money you earn, that means you have to spend much less. Much less. Our government cannot, we cannot just spend, and you can't spend yourself into prosperity. This is getting into fiscal responsibility talks, conservative economic policies. To any of my anyone watching that may be on the political left, or even libertarians, even there's some of those that actually do like spending money. They just don't want to have a lot of government agencies, or but they don't mind the government spending money.
Right. I mean, if you really look at it, the more we've talked about, the more they print. We'll look at what happened here under the Obama administration, and it took 2 planes to fly how many pallets and tons of money over there.
Oh, don't get me started. Oh my gosh.
Okay, that's what I'm just saying.
Yeah, we're gonna have to do a whole stream on Obama.
Right.
Just go ahead, mark that down in our little book of content we're gonna do. We're gonna do a whole stream just on Obama.
Oh boy, you're digging me a big hole when I get into researching.
Oh, I'm telling you, we are going down that rabbit hole.
Just for him. As this training slide from Homeland Security points out, state and local government have a big responsibility in disaster response. Specifically, the mayor is called out as having primary responsibility for both community preparedness and community disaster response activities. But just to make this a little more, I guess, ironic, the San one there wasted no opportunities to have her face on national television and complain about the president, all while claiming to be non-political. Now take a look at this next interview. Notice her nasty woman t-shirt, and at the same time she's saying it's not political. It's mind-bending. Take a look.
Bueno, número uno, lo que yo le dije, presidente, esto es sobre salvar vidas, no es sobre política. Y número dos, los que dicen eso son los que tienen.
I find it quite interesting. They were having difficulties getting food and aid to Puerto Rico, but somehow they got that nasty woman t-shirt freaking UPS Direct next day air. Interesting. But if there's a little bit of good news to come out of that, this woman, Carmen Cruz, is now being investigated by the FBI for corruption. I mean, all that aid arrived, but it didn't.
I guess I misspoke. My apology. She has been investigated for corruption. I misspoke, didn't I, Kelly?
Yes, you did.
I did.
After seeing this, yeah, I didn't see this video, so or I would have corrected you.
I swear I saw somewhere else that she actually had been charged, but maybe not. Anyway, she's being investigated for corruption. My previous statement where I said that she was charged with corruption, if I made that statement, I apologize.
I need to go in and change the title.
Is it in the title?
Yeah, it does. It says Mayor was arrested for fraud.
It is.
No, apologize. That's an apology for the typo.
And for that too, I will have to change my title. I will do that.
Until further notice.
Go anywhere. I wonder why. More on that in a second, though. But that investigation hasn't stopped her from being a political actor. Take a look at this tweet from earlier this year. She's wearing a hat with the number 4645. Now, that number, 4,645, is supposed to resemble the number of people killed by Hurricane Maria and the disastrous response therein. Now, a quick fact check will tell you that 70 people were killed directly by the hurricane. Allegedly, these other thousands were killed by unknown second and third order effects. Typically, medical examiners will go through case by case and determine if those second and third order effects cause of death can be attributed to the natural disaster or not. But again, Puerto Rico did not have a disaster response template in place to make this possible. Thus, researchers decided to take a random sampling of 3,000 Puerto Ricans and ask them how many people in their community were killed. They then extrapolated that number to the entirety of the island and came up with this relatively random number, 4,600 and a few. So it's poor math. But now to get back to the mayor and his staff, which were arrested for corruption. Now, they were arrested for...
Wait a minute. Did he just say arrested?
Yeah, I heard arrested. I'm looking.
So I wasn't wrong. Right, I did hear right.
I'm looking right now.
I retract my retraction. If that is the case, I retract my retraction. I was not wrong. I'm vindicated. There you go. So I take back. I ain't sorry. Nope. I ain't sorry. I'm good. Here we go. All right.
Misuse of HUD funds. HUD funds are federal grants typically used to improve infrastructure and provide improved housing for the populace. Now, since that $8 million was pocketed rather than used to improve the infrastructure of the island, which potentially could have survived a natural disaster, it was used to line their pockets. So the real question here is, are they to blame for the death of potentially thousands of these people? Something to think about.
Yes.
But now we're in a position where Puerto Rico cannot pay off its debts, and many CEOs, such as the one interviewed here, refuse to do work in Puerto Rico because of corruption, and we have one big question left to ask. Did the San Juan mayor sabotage the disaster response in an attempt to make Trump look bad? Well, one fact checker known as Snopes decided they can't answer that question because it's, well, very hard to determine, so we'll just have to wait and see where this FBI investigation takes us.
So, Snopes, if you don't know who Snopes is, it's a cat lady and her ex-husband. That is Snopes. These are the...
When I asked for a pause there, I had actually done a search, and they said that she was busted for fraud charges, stealing over $3 million.
Yeah, so...
federal funds.
So Snopes is considered on the left to be like this great arbiter of truth. No, they're political hacks. Not only are they political hacks, it's an ex-husband and his cat lady wife. That's Snopes. I was fact checked by Snopes on Facebook and had a post removed. I'm not kidding you. Snopes, I got fact checked by Snopes. I did.
But with a little bit of information and a little bit of time we spent together here, take a look at this clip I'm about to play for you. And let me know in the comments below what you think. Is this as laughable, as dishonest as I think it is? Let me know.
We are dying here. And I cannot fathom the thought that the greatest nation in the world cannot figure out logistics for a small island of 100 miles by 30.
While she's standing in front of food.
I am done being polite. I am done being politically correct. I am mad as hell. Because my people's lives are at stake.
Anyways, guys, that about wraps it up for this one. Please do me a favor, hit that subscribe button. Big shout out to my Patreon supporters. I appreciate everything you do for me, and I'll catch you next time. Peace.
So, let's see. Let's come up here. The octopus of government uses printed dollars, make them use gold and silver when it runs out. No more government abuse of power. 1917 Thunder says Obama has big lips. He likes it. He likes to chat and chat and chat about communism. Yes. So what says she looks guilty? Because she is. In my opinion, she's very guilty. I think the facts speak for themselves. CBS reports she got arrested. I saw. There you go. I was vindicated. I was not wrong. I'm pretty sure. Snopes. Yeah. Hilton says, gotta go. See y'all later. Thanks for coming, Hilton. If you've already taken off, have a good day. God bless.
Yeah, I went in and checked 3 different resources that actually showed that she had been busted for over $3 million.
So Donna Terry says, Chris, I'm not sure I have your correct email. Let me type it in.
You want me to put my email in there too, my business email in there too?
Yeah,
so yeah. Any questions or anything comes.
Well, it's not whether I want you to or not, but by all means.
So that, yeah, because I do so much research that if somebody has something that they want to send, that I can look into it and
so
further it on to you.
So,
you know, if you don't have time.
Yeah, you can go ahead and put you can put whatever you want in there. You can put your email by all means. Massface says, time to talk to God. Sorry if I threw you off, Chris. When I'm tired, I talk too much. Yeah,
God bless you for coming in. Thank you.
You and me both, Patriot Gallery. You and me both.
God bless you.
So we covered a few topics. A lot of our streams we'll do like 2 hours on one topic, and sometimes we'll do multiple topics, but not very often. I think it was nice doing multiple topics today, even though we covered one like most of the time.
Right. Yeah, because I just threw that up because there's been so much about it, and with having the hearings, I was like, we really need to cover that.
Yeah. I just got a notification. Sweet Speaks just now uploaded a video. If you're gonna stay up, go check it out. Sweet Speaks, go check out his channel. Like and subscribe if you like his content. I like his content. I like his stuff. Go check it out. La Resistance says, thank you and God bless at Chris Holman and Kellie PB fam. Job well done. Great to see you added the copyright provisions. Very smart. Yeah. Thank you, La Resistance, for coming. I appreciate and love all of you guys that come and watch. We're going to be wrapping it up here in a minute. I think there was a few things we wanted to talk about, not news related, serious wise. So it's been brought to my attention from multiple people. I'm a smoker trying to quit. I think anybody who knows me knows this. A lot of my viewers know this. That it's been brought to my attention that when I light up, y'all can hear it. Y'all can hear my lighter, which I'm not really that surprised. So I will say this, that once I'm not going to be smoking on the stream at all once we get into video, which will be next week. But I do apologize for the interference of my lighter lighting periodically as I'm smoking. I've had multiple people tell me about that. Not that it was really a problem, but just to let me know. So Kelly, can you do me a favor? Can you put in a Sweet Speaks the link to his channel in the live chat? Can you do that? I mean, I could do it. You want me to?
Yeah.
You want me to?
Yeah, I want to grab it here really quick.
Okay. So, go to so here we go. Well, apparently,
there it is.
Apparently, Maya beat me to it.
Good job,
we
Maya.
both did it. Maya's on top of it now. Maya's on top of it. Thank you, Maya.
Thank you very much.
So, as I said at the beginning of the stream, and I just kind of hinted at it, we're gonna be kind of changing up the format of the Chris and Kelly live show. So we're going to be going to not just audio. It's going to be less like a podcast and more like an actual live stream. You're going to be able to see us. So that's where we're going with that. Let's see. Oh, I am going to be starting sometime in the very near future, a live stream once a week that is going to be a Bible study. I have 3 other young men. I say young men. I actually don't know how old some of these guys are. But I'd say my age or younger, I'd say, if I had to guess. We're going to be doing a Bible study once a week. So you can tune into that. We will be, I believe we're going to start with the book of John. The Gospel of John, and then move on to the epistles. I think that is the direction we're going to go, but don't quote me on that just yet. We do have some discussions to go. One thing about that is it's going to be equal as far as the direction of the Bible study will be. That direction will be shared equally. It will not just me, facilitating a Bible study. We're all going to take our turns in this. The goal of it, not just, of course, one goal is, to have a deeper understanding of the Word of God, but to also to seek after truth and to share that Word of God with others. So, Bible studies are more geared towards believers. But just because if you're watching this, just because you may not be a believer, doesn't mean that, you're not welcome. If you seek after truth, even if you're not a believer, if you seek after truth, come and listen and participate. It being a live stream, we will be taking comments from the chat as well. So that could be in the next few weeks. We will be starting that, probably not this coming week, but possibly the week after. Maybe we'll have to see. So everybody, thanks for coming. Owen said he has to go. Donna says, thanks for the great discussion. You are so very welcome.
Yes. Thank you, everybody.
1917 Thunder says, thanks for the live show. Great info. Big cheers. Yeah, thank you so much, everybody, for coming. I really appreciate it. I love all y'all that take the time out of your day to spend with Kelly and I, and those that come in for my little balcony chats from time to time. So everybody have a great night. Sleep well. Those in the UK, it's already early morning. You guys are probably getting ready for your, if you have to work, or maybe it's not even midnight here, but it would be what, See the UK.
Well, 6 hours difference roughly.
6 hours, so it'd be 5:39 there, a.m. So, all right. Well, have a good night and a great weekend. God is love. God bless.
God bless.